What's up, everybody? I just wanted to say I'm a little bit sick right now, and I thought I'd make this video and talk about how I think uh, being sick is kind of mystical, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been sick, and I can kind of feel how you come in contact with the unconscious, which I've actually been having a lot of doubts about now. And I know I'm going to contradict myself here because I just made a video talking about the subconscious, the unconscious, and what it was. And now I'm going to be saying that I actually think that in the unconscious there's nothing. So it's like pitch black. There's nothing there. Um, like if you were to ask me, like, I think the biggest problem with that would be if you ask me, where do we get our memories from? How can I remember some event when I was a kid, but not remember it all the time? Where's that stored? There has to be somewhere where that's stored, right? But the reason I'm saying this is because the unconscious, I think, is kind of like uh, it's not pretty. That's what I want to say. It's not somewhere you want to be. It's, I think, chaos. It's pure chaos. It is potential. It is creativity. You go there, when you sleep, when you're meditating, when you're in silence. I would almost dare inquire into whether you go there when you're like brain dead, scrolling through social media feeds, or even when you're watching a movie. I know that alpha waves are activated when you're relaxed, like watching a movie, because you're not conscious. I think it's only when you have beta waves, that's when you're really thinking and conscious about things. But even they say when you're driving in traffic, that's when you have those beta thoughts. But you know I would kind of question that and say, there's if you really know how to drive, you can kind of go on autopilot. I mean, you do have to be aware of the cars and everything, but I mean, driving in itself, like, let's say you have a long road ahead and you're just cruising. I don't think you're really going to be consciously aware of your surroundings. You just kind of like doze off, turn off. All of those instances, for, like I said, from sleeping to being sick to meditating to being silent, and even potentially it could be said, scrolling through social media, just being brain dead. I think are moments when you start to access the unconscious, the unknown. And when you're sick, right? I just forgot if I said that. But yeah, when you're sick, why when you're sick? Because you're debilitated, right? You're weak. You're kind of like, and you're taking medicine, and medicine is going to alter your brain function. So all of that alteration, like, I guess anything that's not purely conscious and 100% orderly, organized conscious. I could even say when you're tired. When you're tired, you're accessing the unconscious, right? Like how many of you haven't been there sitting at a meeting or at work and you're just dozing off, right? Like, that's happened to me before, where I'm like at work and I literally start like dozing off. My head just falls on me. And I think that's because I think when we do that, you're actually accessing the unconscious, right? Now, like I said, the unconscious, I think, I've argued for it like all along, and I don't even know if it does exist, right? It's a theory. So by me saying it doesn't exist, I'm contradicting myself, but I don't care, because that's eventually how you develop. I think about this, how Carl Jung developed this concept, well, with the help of Sigmund Freud, the unconscious, the collective unconscious, and the archetypes and all that stuff. And from there, many other people have worked off his work, right? Like they work from what he developed, and I feel like, I want to have something like that. I want to be able to develop something, but I think the only way to develop something like that is by letting your unconscious, kind of take the reins. And being sick, I think is sucks because you feel irritated. I feel irritated. I don't want to, how can I say it, like you want to just relax, you want to be at peace, but you really can't. You're like uncomfortable all the time, and that uncomfortness or that irritation or that lack of peace, I would say, I would say, is it's all unconscious energy. Which you could say, oh yeah, I welcome it. I want the unconscious, but do you really? I mean, the unconscious is you alone by yourself, feeling bad for yourself, depressed, anxious, feeling hopeless, because that's where you get the raw potential. So it's like it's nice to talk about all this stuff and say, oh yeah, you need to access your unconscious because your unconscious is where you get your creative potential. It's where you develop and grow and mature. But I think that's after your trip to the unconscious, because while you're in there, it's not pretty. You're suffering, you're going through shit, you're confused, it's chaos, like I said. You don't really know what to do. You're trying to make yourself at peace. You're trying to think things that will take you to a peaceful mindset, right? Like I was trying to organize my thoughts earlier and kind of say to myself, like, I'm feeling bad because of the YouTube videos, and I'm like, I don't really even, I shouldn't even care, but I'm making these videos and I don't even know why. Because they're not getting any views. And that's like an ego thing because I have it, and I think that's my shadow, right? Because Jung, I'm gonna talk about this in an upcoming video, but there's many archetypes, but the four fundamental archetypes of Jung are, the self, which is the conscious person, the shadow, the anima and the animus, and the persona. And the persona and the shadow are kind of opposites, right? Like the persona is that socially acceptable person that you are, that mask you wear, which I think could actually be any of the other archetypes. Like you're rebellious, or you're this, or you're that, or you're ill, or you're a teacher, or you're a lawyer, or you're a doctor, right? So it's like the face you wear, right? Persona, I think, comes from the Greek, which was mask. And then that shadow part of you is like all of that dark side, which many people in society try to repress and say they don't have. And I can't come out here and say no, they're wrong. It does exist, because what the hell do I know? It's just a theory. There may be people that don't have a shadow. you know do I feel like I have a shadow? I mean, yeah, I've seen it. So there is a dark force in you, and I don't know if that develops as you go through puberty, because according to Herman Hesse, he said it does. It's during that stage when you start to look at the prohibit and the what's it called, like the toxic and the taboo topics. It's during your Scorpio stage, when you're 12, from 12 years old to 15 years old, and you're no longer innocent, you're no longer a kid, which, if any of you know from the zodiac, it's after Libra, so you're actually headed towards the end, which the first cycle ends when you're 30, right, with Pisces, and then it begins again, back up again with Aries when you're 30. Well, yeah, it ends when you're 30, and the other one begins when you turn 30. So that toxicity, I guess, never leaves you. You're always gonna, have that part of you, I guess. But it goes even further than that to say it's animal instinct. It's like all this type of, impulsive energy we have, which could actually be all part of the shadow. So yeah, I just wanted to share the thoughts I have right now on this topic. I don't really know if I'm gonna keep making videos or not. I mean, if I have ideas or just things I want to share, I'll keep making videos, but I don't think it's gonna be my priority for the moment. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll let you know where this takes me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.